During a recent Q&A, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was questioned about a possible future matchup with his cousin Roman Reigns. The Rock didn't just answer that question, but he gave a lengthy response. And The Rock answered with, "Sure, of course. I'm always open. I think anything is possible. That's the cool thing about professional wrestling. There is an adaptability to wrestling. You never say never in the world of pro wrestling. You never say never to Vince McMahon, who has been one of my mentors in the business for a very long time. A very, very close friend and confidant. You never say no. For something like that to happen, I think the venue would have to be right. The business model would have to be right. But I'm very close with Roman. He's family to me. So we will see." That is very telling, the way The Rock opened that answer up. "Sure, of course, I'm always open." And he ends this response with "we will see." He is basically telling you, he's coming out and telling you outright that the ball is in Vincent Kennedy McMahon's court. The master key to all of this actually happening is in Vince McMahon's pocket. Don't think for 1 second that because of these releases and layoffs and furloughs, that the old man still isn't worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That company is not worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And don't think for 1 second that if you advertise The Rock in a big time matchup, that's not going to bring in revenue. At least footing the bill for what it costs to bring him in. But I assure you, it would amount to much more than that. And there would be revenue gain. The old man knows it as well. But The Rock went out of his way to say the business model would have to be right. Because for The Rock, he knows WWE all too well. It's not just about the money. It's about his legacy. It's about how he would be used. And it's about not making a fool out of himself. Or more importantly, not letting the old man, not letting that company make a fool out of him. Because The Rock knows, no pun intended, but he hasn't been living underneath The Rock for the last several years. He knows how bad the booking and how bad the creativity is in WWE. So the business model would have to be accurate. The story would have to be correctly told. Right? It would have to make sense. It would have to be meaningful. Otherwise, why is The Rock coming back if it's not going to make an impact? Something tells me he's doing just fine with what he's doing in life. He doesn't need this shit. If he's going to come back, it better be to change the business. What better way to change the business than taking a stale Roman Reigns and finally doing the heel turn that's years in the making in the most epic way possible? In fact, I even have Simone, The Rock's daughter, involved in this. I'll tell you what I mean in just a minute. But let's not forget right from the jump that this is the match that should have happened at WrestleMania 35 in New York. But Vince couldn't finalize the deal with The Rock, and Roman went on to beat Drew McIntyre at MetLife Stadium. Why Drew McIntyre was fed to Reigns as a plan B when Drew should have been someone's plan A still befuddles me to this very day, but that's the old man for you. Now, of course, Roman was just returning from his medical hiatus around that time, so maybe they felt a Rock feud would be too rushed, or maybe The Rock knew that the story wasn't going to accurately be told in just 6 weeks. Because Roman came back end of February of 2019. But we knew for weeks that Roman was ready to come back. So they could have had a full 2 months. Around that time, The Rock was kind of fueling talks about a match with Roman. How that was a possibility. That's why everybody was talking about it. New York City, that was the place to do it. So here we are over a year later, and The Rock fuels these talks again, just like he sparked the flames in the Mania 35 build early 2019. But if this match happens, I think we all agree it has to go one way. It can only go one way. And that's even if Roman still has that clout. We know he was in the McMahon doghouse recently, but I expect Vince's golden child to be thrusted back into that spotlight upon his return. For now, though, everybody has been told not to even mention Roman Reigns' name. Thou that has no name. But I fully believe this is because Vince looks at Roman, currently, as bad publicity. At least right now. With what's going on in the world and Roman having a compromised immune system, Roman is basically the poster child for why WWE should be taking a break right now, for why WWE should not be putting their superstars at any risk. Their top guy, at least in Vince's eyes, can't even compete. It's bad publicity. Trust me, I know how McMahon thinks. Oh, the irony in all this. But should Rock Roman take place in the future, we all have to agree as professional wrestling fans, not just as Roman fans or anti-Roman fans, but unanimously as pro wrestling fans, we all have to come together and come to terms that is where Roman turns. Something great too, something classic that'll always be remembered, like Rock's daughter Simone Johnson, who is currently training at the PC, or when they resume training anyway, but I'd have Simone be between her dad and Roman at the end of this thing, and Simone low blows her father, paving the path for Roman to spear the shit out of The Rock. Putting a dagger in the family legacy, putting a dagger in family unity, and a dagger between father and daughter. Now that's a damn storyline. And what does it get to? It gets to what has been needed for years. Roman Reigns is now the ultimate bad guy. For years I've been told by diehard Roman Reigns fans that he's the real deal. Don't worry about if he can cut a good promo or not. Don't worry if he's got the best look, if there's somebody taller and more of a presence and more muscular like a Drew McIntyre. Don't worry about all that. He's the real deal, man. He's got the it factor. I've yet to see it. And 50% of pro wrestling fans have yet to see it. Come to New York. You come to Chicago. You come to Philly. You come to cities where pro wrestling thrives. And I assure you at least half of the fan base isn't buying the Roman bullshit. If he truly has any it factor, if he truly has charisma and personality oozing out of him that I have yet to see in the past over 5 years. But if he truly has it, maybe it's as a heel. Nobody really cared for Rocky Maivia, but once he turned heel and The Rock got to show his true colors and he got to shine and he didn't give a damn anymore about what people were thinking about him, that's when he shined the brightest. I've been saying for the longest time, for pro wrestling fans to unanimously get behind the notion that Roman Reigns is a top guy. Not just a manufactured dude in a promotional propaganda machine from the old man in Stanford, but a true legit top guy in the business, not just WWE. For us to truly get behind that notion, we need to see every dimension of him. We've seen a heel and a face stone cold, and that's why we know he's the real deal. We saw a face and a heel Hulk Hogan, and that's why we knew he was the real deal. We saw a face and a heel Rock, and that's how we knew he was the real deal. We saw a face and a heel Undertaker, and that's how we knew he was the real deal. I can go on and on, dude, but for some reason, they never wanted to switch over John Cena. And it's because he did all the Make-A-Wishes, and John Cena really just didn't want to be a bad guy. And I feel to this very day, and I will always feel this way, that John Cena hurt the business because he should have went heel years ago. He got selfish, and he started playing the I'm the ultimate good guy, and he forgot about the business. BC, what do you mean selfish, man? He was doing all that for Make-A-Wish. Last I checked, WWE isn't just a charity case. That's awesome. You build new faces, and they will also continue on the tradition of helping out those kids in need, or those kids that just want that one wish to meet their favorite superstar. But you can never put the business second fiddle. You have to do what's best for the business first. All those times where people were literally being held down, and I don't care whose fault it was. People still to this day claim it's Vince's fault that people were held down under Cena. People are claiming that Cena was keeping them down. People are saying it was him and Vince McMahon. I'm sure it was a combination. But we all can agree, the facts are the facts. Nobody was really breaking out during the whole John Cena 10-year reign. Or near 10 years. At least, nobody could get fucking over. And John Cena didn't want to move out of the way and turn heel. He didn't want to do the fucking job for people. And I'm not just talking losing. He didn't want to create the new hero by being the ultimate bad guy. There was a time, many times, so many times, Cena needed to turn heel, and he refused. And to this day, he's basically ending his career never turning heel. Well, that's great. He gets to go to his grave with his morals. What the fuck? Pro wrestling doesn't give a fuck about your morals, dude. Pro wrestling is about good guy versus bad guy. You never once turned heel when 117 occasions called for it. So here we are now, 5 years into this Roman Reigns shindig that we've all been a part of. This Roman Reigns shindig that has yet to actually be successful. Year after year, we play this Roman Reigns game, and it's the same reaction every year. He wins a big match at Mania, or he wins the championship. He's thrusted into all these main events, and you have half the crowd that is just like, no thank you. What harm is there in just turning this dude heel? I would love to know. We're basically just getting another John Cena for the last 5 years, and it looks like for the foreseeable future. It looks like for the next 5 years, we're gonna play the same game. It's not fun anymore. Roman gets all the big matches, he gets championship reigns, half the crowd doesn't even fucking want to see him in there, and we do this month after month, year after year. You know how I know? Because we just did it the last 5 years, and before that we did it 10 years previous. The only difference is, Roman Reigns lacks any charisma. He's not even near John Cena's charisma level. So if anything, we've been even worse the last 5 years than when John Cena was the head guy. Don't believe me? Look at the tricks that Vince McMahon has to do just to get casual fans to jump on the Roman Reigns ship, to jump on board on that train. Choo-choo, chugga-chugga, motherfucker. Jump aboard the Roman Express. Vince McMahon has literally tried to reel him back. Try to put him out of the title picture to try to show people that he's not being thrusted in the top spots. But what happens? What happens at the end of every show? It's gonna be Roman in the main event. Roman's matches, even when there's not a title on the line, are still promoted as the match because Vince wants everybody to see through the same lenses that he's looking out of. That Roman is the guy. But we see, at least half of us, thankfully, are smart fans, and we understand it's bullshit. We're not sheep. We're not casuals. We're not Instamarks. We cut through the bullshit, and we're not going to allow it. We're not going to stand in line with our little wooden bolt and say, please, sir, can I have some more? While Vince shovels out more bullshit, one plate after another. So no, I don't, and every time I make a vid about this, I get, oh, wow, the Roman hate is real on this channel. Wow, BC, you really don't like Roman. Are you listening to my fucking words, dude? Are you listening to my fucking words, dude? Are you comprehending what I'm speaking? This has nothing to do with Roman the man or Joe Anoa'i, the man behind the character. This is the fucking character itself. Which, by the way, is not that far off from Joe Anoa'i. That's the problem. Stone Cold always said that the Stone Cold character was basically just Steve Austin with the volume turned up to 10. With Roman Reigns, the volume doesn't go past 2. I get zero charisma or personality out of this guy. And Roman fans don't want to fucking listen to the words. Oh, you're just hating on him, man. You're just hating. Will you listen to me? Has the reaction for him changed in 5 years? Yes or no? It's rhetorical. The answer is no. They have tried everything. They have had this guy go out there and beat Triple H in a WrestleMania main event for the championship. They have had this guy take the title from Brock Lesnar. They have had this guy, they had Rock. They had The Rock try to put him over at Royal Rumble. No heel turn by Roman. They just had The Rock help Roman, and The Rock got booed out of Philadelphia. I'm going to repeat that. The fucking Rock, who is beloved by millions around the world, got booed out of Philadelphia. Just for holding up the arm of Roman Reigns. They have tried everything, and it has failed time and time again. This Roman Reigns game needs to come to an end, needs closure. How many years do we play this? And if you're a diehard Roman Reigns, then you don't mind, right? But is that really the truth? Sure, you're getting him in main events, you're getting championships, but you have to put up with people like me that are cutting through the bullshit and saying enough. So it can't be that much fun for you. What is my point? My point is, this isn't about fucking hate or shade. If you think that, too fucking bad. I'm the boogeyman in the community anyway. I'm the asshole and the bad guy anyway. I'm the one who always is negative. Fuck off. My words hold weight because they're always so damn true. My question is, why not turn this dude heel? They failed with John Cena because the dude was so morally high on being the good guy that he put the business second. Roman Reigns, there's no excuse. None. Why can a real top star in Vince McMahon's eyes not turn heel? When it works. History shows that it works. Look at Hulk Hogan. He became even more popular with the NWO, I feel. Or maybe not more. I mean, if you were around during those 80s, that guy was a fucking rock star. But Hollywood Hogan in the NWO, man, that boomed pro wrestling to another level I've never seen before. And maybe we never will. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He turned heel at the height of his popularity, and he became epic as a heel. Stone Cold. Listen to me carefully. The guy didn't even need to turn heel. He was still wildly popular. He chose to turn heel because he knew it was going to help the business and create stars. And it did. The Rock boomed after that. Kurt Angle, who was a fellow heel, boomed after that. You guys remember Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, and Kurt Angle's little trio that they had when Stone Cold was a heel? That was fucking epic, and it never would have happened if we didn't see that side of Stone Cold. You guys remember what? The paranoid Stone Cold character? That's because he turned heel. We would have gotten none of that. Now, I'm sure to this day, some people are probably upset that we have the what chant still. But please, that was fucking epic back in the day, and you know it. I am giving you guys facts like I always do, and I know I'll still get the dipshit. Oh my god, stop the hate on Roman. Are you listening to me, dude? I need you to comprehend what I'm saying. This isn't about shade. This is about making the business better. They have one more chance. They have one more opportunity to do the right thing. To Roman Reigns and for the fans. You turn this guy, everybody wins. This is only going to help Roman Reigns. Do you not understand that? In the future, if you ever want him to turn face, it'll be more epic than ever before. If Roman Reigns does his job correctly. if he truly has this it factor, this charisma that everybody says he has, but I haven't seen yet, if he truly has it, it's going to come out as a heel, I assure you. And if he flops, because it's sink or swim time, if he sinks as a heel, then it's what I speculated all along. The dude just doesn't have that it factor. But we don't know. We won't know unanimously as pro wrestling fans. Not just anti-Roman fans or die-hard Roman fans. We won't know unanimously together if he truly has that it factor until he turns heel. But as of now, he's just following the John Cena approach. No matter what the reaction is, go out there. As long as you're getting a reaction, we're not going to do anything unique with you. They don't realize that just because you're hearing noise, that doesn't mean it's the right type of noise. There's literally people that are fed up. There's literally people that are not booing a guy just because we don't like him. We're booing the whole concept. We're booing him because we legit don't even want to see him in that matchup. That's not good, guys. When something is no longer even fun, that's not good. Sergeant Slaughter being booed in WrestleMania 7 when he was going against Hulk Hogan, and we booed the shit out of Sergeant Slaughter, that was fun. That was for a reason. That was meaningful. Booing Roman Reigns in 2020 isn't because we're having fun. I assure you, these are just facts. I gave you proof, facts about top stars turning heel and what it did for not only their careers, but for the fans. For the business, more than anything, it only helped. I don't want to do another 5 years of this because we just saw 5 years of post-John Cena. And what does it look like? It looks like what we just got with Roman Reigns. So now we play this game another 5 years at least. This is what we're really doing when Roman can just turn heel, give the keys to Drew McIntyre, and let's see what he has as the top face of the company. Or who knows? Roman turning heel, if he truly has the it factor, can create new heroes, new top stars. And everybody wins in the long run. And again, I have Simone doing the job. This is perfect. You could do it a million different ways. The referee's knocked out the end of this thing. Simone doesn't want them fighting anymore. And she low blows her father, giving a kick right to his groin. And he looks up at his own daughter like, "Et tu, Brute? Like, you did this to your father? You did this to me?" And then Roman cracks him with a steel chair 3 or 4 times, solidifying a double heel turn from Simone and Roman. Or Roman just spears the shit out of fucking The Rock. Or this happens post-match. The Rock wins the match. And he takes out The Rock. And Simone somehow gets involved. But I just feel like Simone and Roman doing this together would be so impactful. And can I ask a serious question? When's the last time we got a real fun family storyline like this? To this degree, to this level. Right? You'd have to go back to Mania back in, 17, 18, 19, one of those fucking WrestleManias, where you had Linda McMahon out there, Stephanie, Shane McMahon, the whole McMahon family was involved. And it was ludicrous. I remember Linda McMahon was in a wheelchair, in a comatose state, but it was a ploy to get back to her, at her husband. Because Vince McMahon totally turned her back on Linda, his back. And it was a whole family feud, and I love that, man. At the core, it's simplistic storytelling, just with a bunch of creativity put into it. But at the base, the story itself, very simplistic. You just got to put the time, energy, and effort into it. This is a family-type storyline that could send The Rock off in a meaningful way. He gives the business, when he leaves back to Hollywood, he leaves the business in a better place than when he came. Roman, it does wonders for, obviously. This is a whole new beginning for Roman and for all fans to see every side of him. All sides of the spectrum, every dimension to who the fuck Roman Reigns is. And for Simone, This is the absolute, we've already seen the model with Ronda Rousey. Simone is going to be green as fuck when she gets to the main roster. We already know that. Vince is going to bring Simone up really quickly. She's going to be green. It's just the way it is. No matter what training she had, if she started training at 4 years old with her father, she's going to be green. And even if she was immaculate, the fans will turn on her because it's The Rock's daughter, right? We love Ric Flair. But Charlotte Flair getting thrust into all of this spotlight, it leaves a bad taste in every fan's mouth, or most fans. Ronda Rousey, we know how great she was, at publicity anyway, coming into WWE, what she did in the UFC, so you want to give her a little bit of a rub. But the fans felt that she was getting too much too soon, or at least a lot of fans. And Ronda Rousey actually did pretty good in the year that she was here. She learned really quickly, but the fans just didn't like the fact that she was coming in and getting all of this without really earning it. My point is this, guys. We've seen this happen before with Charlotte's and Ronda's. Simone is going to have a lot of baggage. No fault of her own. It's just going to be a lot of baggage. So bringing her in, I can fucking speak, I need another coffee. Bringing her in instantly as a heel will only help her and her confidence. And when your confidence is top-notch, you will be top-notch going forward. I assure you, they fucked up with Ronda. They brought her out as a face. They thought they could sustain it, even though from day one, she was getting ridiculed by many fans. And then what happened? 6 months later, they had to finally start the turn. By then, fans weren't buying it. You bring Simone in, you have her turn on her father during a dynamite family feud with Roman and Rock, cousins at war here. And Simone does that because she has a connection with Roman Reigns. They're plotting something. They're going to take over the WWE. And that's the beginning of it. Man, all of these awesome concepts, all of this creativity comes flushing to my dome piece. But knowing Vince, if he ever gets this match, you know what's going to happen, guys. Roman will end up spearing The Rock. Maybe 2 or 3 spears. Roman wins the match. They shake hands and they hug afterwards. And they try to get that rub once again for Roman Reigns. Everybody's going to want to see The Rock win. Everybody's going to want to see the heel turn. But we're just going to get 50-50 reaction Roman. At least it's a reaction, right? That's Vince's response to everything. As long as they get a reaction. What if I said, hey, Vince, I can give you a better reaction. I can get 100% of the fans going nuts, either cheering or booing. How about it? Better? No, we can't achieve better. Let's just go with average. 50-50 is fine. I'm happy we're even getting 50%. That's the MO of this company. For years, they haven't wanted to go to the next level. For years, they've been resting on their laurels. For years, they're just okay with mediocre and average. You can get to better. If there is something truly unique in Roman, if there's true charisma, if there's true personality, if he's truly a top fucking star, let's make him such. We're not seeing it. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. How are you going to lie to yourself? How is this just BC you're hating, BC you're throwing shade? I want to see the very best for the Roman Reigns character. You know why? Because I have to watch the shit. That's right. I said have to, because I love it. I'm not going to just jump off. I don't jump off when my Knicks suck year after year, or when my Packers sucked. We finally got Super Bowls, but they sucked for the longest time, my Green Bay Packers. I didn't just jump off the ship. I stayed with them. I was sinking with them. Because I knew one day we would rise. I'm hoping that for the Knicks. But I'm not going to stop watching it. I have to watch them. I love them. I'm a part of them. 5 years I've watched the same Roman Reigns experiment unfold with the same results. That's the definition of insanity. Expecting different results while doing the same thing every fucking time. But when do you change things up? Why not? You have nothing to lose. 10 years doing this with John Cena. The guy refused to turn heel. 5 years now with Roman Reigns. Vince McMahon refuses to turn him heel. I think with Cena, it was Cena refusing. I think with Roman, it's Vince refusing to have him turn. But for the love of anything holy, can somebody please just fucking turn? It's gonna help the business. Your top guy in the company, supposedly, is liked by 50% of your audience. Now, I'll agree, there's a lot of pro wrestling fans that are fickle. But shit, the response can be so much better if you just do things the right way. Put some care into what you're doing. Put some thought into it, man. Roman could. 5 years later, here we are, and Roman is in the same position with the fans. Do you realize the guy could have actually been something if you utilized him correctly from day one? If you heard the response after a year and a half, 2 years, shit, I'll give you the benefit there, Vince. 3 years. You couldn't have changed things up. No, you kept being stubborn as fuck. And you kept trying to do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's insanity. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this supposed to work next year? BC, give it time, man. I think we're getting close. It's been 5 years. I think in the next couple of years, BC, Roman could get 75% of the fans behind him. Well, fucking A, man. In 2 years, I could win the fucking lottery, too. But let's concentrate on now. I love long-term. I'm always thinking long-term. But let's think about right now and how to get there. It's frustrating. It is so fucking frustrating, guys, to see something happen time and time again, see that it's not working, and being helpless. You can't do shit. Nobody's getting over because of it. I just told you, WrestleMania 35, Drew McIntyre had to lose. WrestleMania 35, Drew should have already been getting the rocket. Here we are, WrestleMania 36, he finally got the championship. 35 he should have been. They had him job out to Roman because Roman had to win a matchup. Nobody can work around and above Roman because he's just roadblocking everything. Turn him heel. There's no better time than The Rock versus Roman, and it's just a phone call away. The Rock has just went on record and say he's open to it. We will see. He said he'll never say no to Vince McMahon. He said it! He said it in his own response. He is basically leaving the door wide open, unlocked, for Vince McMahon to not just call, but to walk in, put a contract on the table. And we got Rock Roman, and do it correctly, man. You use Simone in this thing, you turn Roman Reigns, and we will all be talking about that moment for years and years to come. You want to make Roman a household name without forcing him on us? Now's your chance, Kennedy McMahon. Now is your chance, old man. Rock it out, dog! It's time we all come together to make the business better. It's not about who you like and who you don't like. It's about making the business better. This is the prime time to do it. If we get rockin' Roman, I almost said Rock and Austin. I'm so used to their classic battles. If we get Rock and Roman, it needs to be remembered for years and years to come. It needs to be remembered for a lifetime. It needs to have the epic culminating moment. It cannot just be Roman beating The Rock in a hug afterwards. That doesn't do shit for pro wrestling. It doesn't do shit for the future, and you guys know I'm right. Whether you love me or hate me, you know I'm right. This is a prime time opportunity for Vince McMahon. You set these two up, and you do what should have been done years ago. I'm the Amplified Man. Enjoy Raw tonight. I'll see you guys in the morning with the Raw review and reaction. For now, think, be, live amplified.